Good morning, my wonderful third and fourth graders. We're going to be combining our videos from this point forward, doing things a little different because we're not going to be doing packets anymore. We're going to actually be doing a fun activity that's going to be all online, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy it because we get to read a lot of fun and interesting articles. Now, all of you guys are awesome readers. I know that because I have been your teacher for a long time, and I know that you guys are able to read the words off the page, but that's not reading. Reading is actually learning from what you read, actually being curious and going out and finding out information. So I love this saying, the more that you read, the more things you will know, the more that you learn, the more places you will go. And that is what I'm hoping for the next 4 weeks, that we can work together to learn how to read and to enjoy reading and to want to learn. So we're going to be having our reading take us to a lot of different places. With fiction reading, we may visit our knights and our castles and things like that. With historical fiction, we can go there as well. We have, of course, we can do some science fiction reading. There's my beautiful Star Trek Enterprise. You guys know how much I love Star Trek Enterprise. And of course, with our nonfiction reading, we get to do reading about people like our founding fathers, which are super, super, super important to learn about. And also, we are going to be, one of our articles this week is going to be about these little guys, about our sloth friends. So we're going to actually take this reading and learn what we can do with it. We're going to take reading and learn from it, not just read the words off the page. So one of the articles that you guys are going to be reading is about sloths, and I'm going to kind of go up to the top of my page here, so I'm sorry if I make this a little sickening. Don't mean to make you guys dizzy or sick, but let's go up to the top of the page. This is called Hanging Tough, okay? In this article, you're going to be reading about our little cute little sloth friends. It's going to have videos in here that you can read about. We're going to be learning some of the words that we see in here. One of the words is called deforestation. And so part of being a great reader is being able to have some background knowledge about what you're reading. No one can be a great reader unless they truly understand what they're reading about. So if I gave you an article and you were one of my best readers in class, but I gave you an article about, about the human heart and how the heart works, unless you had some background information, you would have a struggle reading through that article because you wouldn't have that background knowledge for you to be able to understand the word. So I'm going to be giving you some background knowledge about this particular article about sloths. One of the words in here is deforestation, and I want to go over that vocabulary word. Deforestation basically means that habitats of our sloth friends are being destroyed by human activity. A lot of the forests are being cut down for farming. They're being used for wood and things like that to build structures to put people in. And so the sloth is losing its habitat, which is pretty sad. They're an endangered species. But I did not know a lot about sloths, so I actually did some research. Yes, I used my reading skills to do some research. Those reading skills help us to learn more about what we're actually reading. So I'm going to kind of go around here in my room, and I have to apologize for my messy room. I have my Squishmallow, my sloth Squishmallow, as a kind of a good person to help me out with some of these fun facts about sloths. So before you read these articles, I'm going to be talking to you about some information about our sloth friends. So one thing that you should know about sloths is that there are two major varieties. You can tell them apart by their number of their toes on their front paws. So one kind of sloth has 2 toes, and one kind of sloth had 3 toes on the front. But on the back, they all have 3 toes, which is pretty interesting. Now, sloths right now, they only get to be about as big as a medium-sized dog, but 10,000 years ago, there were giant sloths. These giant sloths were as big as elephants. Can you even imagine an Asian elephant sloth? It would have been huge, and they went extinct about 10,000 years ago. And we do have fossils, my 4th graders, of these giant sloths. And I did see them. I found them in La Brea, California, in the tar pits. Remember we talked about that 4th grade? Yes, I actually saw the skeletal remains of those, the fossils of those giant sloths. So that's pretty cool. Now, one cool thing about sloths is they do use camouflage. Camouflage is another big word, another great vocabulary word where they can blend into their surroundings. Algae actually grows on their fur and turns them green. So they actually blend into the treetops, and they were able to avoid predators that way. They spend 90% of their time hanging. That's just what they do. They hang out. And if they have to move, they move super duper duper slowly, usually only about 125 feet every day. But they don't like to move. They like to stay hanging in the trees, but sometimes they fall down and they have to move, and they have big long claws, and that makes them so they can't really crawl very well. So if you ever find a sloth on the ground, a lot of humans will pick them up and put them back in the trees because they don't crawl real well. Sloths are a lot like owls in the fact that they can turn their heads almost all the way around. There is 360 degrees in a circle. Mrs. Potter will be happy that I'm teaching you that. And sloths can turn their heads 270 degrees. That is unreal. They can almost turn their heads all the way around. That helps them to avoid predators. They are mostly herbivores. And for my fourth graders, you guys should know herbivores. They eat mostly plants. They can eat some insects, and they have been known to eat birds if they get really hungry. But most of them are herbivores. And you're going to be in our little article, you're going to be learning about some of the plants that they do eat. They actually can swim, and they swim 3 times faster than they move. They are great swimmers, and they can hold their breath for 40 minutes. Guys, you can't even hold your breath for about a minute. I know I can't. I think I would die after about a minute, but they can hold their breath for 40 minutes when they swim, which is incredible. They have really, really slow metabolisms that allow their heartbeats to be really slow. And that's why they're so slow, and they sleep so much, is to conserve their energy. Because since they're only herbivores don't have a lot of calories that they intake. And so they have to either eat a lot or they have to sleep a lot. And so that's how sloths are interesting animals. They are mammals. So if you'll remember, they have fur. They have live babies. They are warm-blooded, and most sloths live in South to Central America. They don't live here in the United States. There's no such thing as United States sloths. Although 10,000 years ago, there were sloths here because I saw them in the tar pits in La Brea, California. So at one point we were covered in trees up here. Remember, the earth changes a lot. I hope that you guys can see that I'm going to try and make our reading really connect with our history, with science, with every part of knowledge that I have. I love reading, guys. One of the reasons why I love reading so much is because I get to learn all these cool things about sloths. I didn't know hardly any of these before I started my research about sloths in order to teach you, and I had to use my reading skills in order to get those information. And I hope that we can kind of have this fun journey together and learn some cool things together. Each day I'm going to be putting together a video about one of the articles that you're going to be assigned. We're going to do some research on it, find some cool information about certain things, and share those together, because that's why I love being a teacher. I want you guys to know how much I miss you. I love you guys. I hope that you guys enjoy reading the other articles. There are some cool ones about whales in there too. Just read day 1 today, okay? And do the assignment for day 1. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.